pew pew.
Oh! Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. As we did hit the target for 30 likes on the pack opening video, I did commit a couple thousand gems and completed the deck early. So let's just go straight into it. The deck profile, any tips, any strategies, and then a fight after that to try to showcase the ideas. So here's the list. You already probably saw it on the left, but let's go through it. This is the new starter, Ancient Dragon Baby Rex. Baby Rex is a forerunner. When this unit is retired during your turn, you can counterblast one and Superior Call Ancient Dragon Tyranno Legend, which is the grade 3, 11k. So it doesn't have any skills on the rearguard circle, but it's an 11k beater. And it can be used as an option to actually enable multi-attacks. Next, we're going to play 4 Ancient Dragon Iguana. Now, Iguana is a really great card. Its skill is when retired during your turn, if your Vanguard is an Ancient Dragon, counterblast 1 to call this card. So, you know, most of your Vanguards are Ancient Dragons, so whenever you're doing your retire skills, you can basically treat it as counterblast 1, you get to call it back out, you know, in stand position, so if you boosted with it or if you attacked with it, it'll be ready to go for another boost or attack again, and you can reposition it as well. So it's really flexible, really great. 4 of the new PGs, the Ancient Dragon Paris Wall. So we're gonna play this one because we do want to hit our break rides consistently. So Paris Wall helps you do that. Of course, you're taking more risks because you're more prone to being at 4 or 5 damage earlier on. But overall, you do want those explosive break ride plays, and that's what this form of PG permits. We're gonna play 1 self-damager Savage Magus, and I'll explain later why. But honestly, this is a real, like, honestly, a tech slot. You can play 7+3s, you can play the 7, you know, on attack, retire something for a 5k. I think the self-damager actually does help, and I'll explain why later on. But don't worry too much about it. If you don't really like self-damagers, you can skip this card as well. And we're going to play 4 Transport Dragon Brachio Porters. Now this card's a staple in the old Tachikaze, and I personally think that it's still a staple in the current one. When this unit is retired during your turn, counterblast 1 to call a Carrier Dragon Brachio Carrier from your deck. And that's the grade 2 Brachio chain. So let's just go straight into the grade 2. When retired, you can counterblast 1 to call the grade 3, and then the grade 3 calls the grade 1 back. Of course, unfortunately, the weakness of this chain is that they are 2k less than the standard base power, 1 or 2k less. So, you know, grade 1, 8k vanilla, it's a 6k. This is grade 2, 10k vanilla. This is 8k. The grade 3, well, 11k is this general standard, but it's a 10k. So, generally speaking, you do need to boost. Generally speaking, it can't attack anything by itself. But being able to flexibly call stuff out, especially going from grade 1 into the grade 2, is really, really good. We're going to play 4 of the 10k vanilla, Ancient Dragon name. We're going to play 4 of the Unflipper Launcher Mammoth on hit. Countercharge 1, unflip 1 damage. We aren't going to play the 9+3 because you will see that only slightly over half of our grade 3s are Ancient Dragons, and our deck isn't a pure Ancient Dragon deck. This is actually a hybrid deck, hybridish. So hitting the 12k numbers, I don't feel like is that important anyways. You can argue that maybe, oh, if you only attack with the 12k attacker, maybe you'll make more space for your multi-attack plays. Well, you'll see that when you retire your board, you can actually just place it back up together, like in stand position, so you don't really need that extra, like, save that boost for later. So that, you know, hitting that over 11k isn't really that important actually. On the other hand, getting that counter charge is actually very important. Because we are playing the Brachio chain, you're actually going to counterblast a lot more than the pure Ancient Dragon build, and so the Unflippers definitely just help you. And lastly, we're going to play Savage Warlock, which is the grade 2 self-damager. Again, this is a tech slot. You can play more 10k vanillas if you want. You can play the 9+3 if you want. You can play the 9+5 on attack retire something if you want. All of them are great options. I just, you know, like the self-damager because if we do miss the break ride, well, we can still use, you know, the Tyranno Legend. You can still do other skills, and you can actually break ride earlier if you use self-damagers. Well, if you want to see that, I'll try to showcase that later, but we'll see if our opponent can stay alive long enough. So yeah, that's basically the grade 2 lineup. For grade 3s, we're gonna play 4 Spinal Driver. Spinal Driver is honestly the main ride target, and the main reride target actually is just such a good card. When rolled upon, your Vanguard gets +10 +1 crit until end of turn. Retire 2 of your rearguards or draw cards equal to the number retired. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, it gets +3k. So it's a 14k attacker by itself. One very, very important thing to note for this card skill is if you have 2 units, you have to retire the 2 units. If you have 1 unit only, you have to retire that 1 unit. So be careful with your placements. If you only have 2 front row rearguards, you're gonna nom those front row rearguards. So yeah, if you are, playing this deck and this is your first few runs, just be careful. I messed it up too, but I promise you this card is great. Great risk for great reward, and definitely really good. You retire 2, you draw 2 cards, right? And your cards generally respawn other dinosaurs, so it's great. We're going to play Tyrannal Legend, Ancient Dragon Tyrannal Legend. Limit break 4, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, retire 3 to get +10 +1 crit until end of battle, and until end of battle. In addition, you get to draw 1 card and call it Ancient Dragon Baby Rex to your rearguard circle. And in addition, Counterblast 2 to get +5 until end of turn. So Counterblast 2, rarely use it, but sometimes it helps to hit numbers. Retiring 3 for +10 +1 crit is great. Crit pressure is great. Retiring 3 might seem bad, but well, you get to draw a card and you get to call another Ancient Dragon Baby Rex, which will then can turn into an 11k beater if you do need that. So that's great. And usually your rearguards get to respawn stuff again. Again, that's the whole mechanic, right? So retiring 3 might seem like a hefty cost, but it really isn't, and it actually helps you enable your multi-attack play. So it's actually a positive in many cases. One thing to note is that, generally speaking, I don't really like break riding Tyrannal Legend onto a Spinal Driver. Usually if I have Tyrannal Legend, I'll just go straight into Tyrannal Legend, or if I have Spinal Driver, I'll go straight into Spinal Driver and hopefully break ride itself, Spinal Driver onto Spinal Driver. And I'll explain another reason why, but overall, break riding Tyrannal Legend onto Spinal Driver doesn't really make that big of an impact. Like 31k 3 crit if you use both unit skills isn't that great. Your opponent's just gonna PG it, and then your turn ends, and then you flop because you retire too many units and all that stuff. So generally speaking, it's one way or another. In terms of my personal playstyle, I find that break riding Tyrannal Legend onto Spinal Driver doesn't really work well for me. So you either go Spinal Driver into Spinal Driver or another potential combo play that I'll explain soon, or go straight Tyrannal Legend, use your self damagers, get to limit break 4, start doing stuff, start crit pressuring big numbers and stuff. We're gonna play 1 Brachial Castle, and some builds play 4. I'm okay with 1. You're rarely gonna try to go from the grade 2 to the grade 3 Brachial Castle anyways, and usually this one is just for me to retire it and then call out another copy of the grade 1 instead. I know some builds play 4 because it's just more consistent that way. I don't like seeing it as a heal, because if you do put it as a heal, if you retire the grade 2, then you'll superior call a heal trigger. I might as well just decrease the consistency of that happening, but if I do want that option, at least it's a draw trigger rather than a heal trigger. And you'll see that this deck does want to be at higher damage count than your opponent most of the time, especially with your crit pressure. Sometimes your opponent's just going to stay at 3 if you're playing OPGs, so that's why I just don't really like to play this at 4 as a heal trigger, especially since you do want to play your 2 Ancient Dragon triple rares at 4 already. And lastly, I do want to play the 4 Dark Rexes, Destruction Dragon Dark Rex. Again, this is interchangeable with the Brachial Castle, 4-1, 4-1. I really like the Dark Rex. I really like it. Its skill is binds on limit break 4. At the end of the battle, your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacked. If it did not hit, retire 3 rearguards to ride this as stand and draw 2 cards. In addition, to get it to the bind zone, you bind this card to have one of your units get +3. Your Brachio chain don't hit numbers well, so the +3 actually comes into play a lot. And also, if you notice, your Spinal Driver, this is your Vanguard, you can actually go Spinal Driver, bind the Dark Rex, superior break ride the Dark Rex, and then go face. And before, the problem was that it's a 10k beater without a booster, but now it's a 10k +10 +1 crit, right? So sometimes you go Spinal Driver onto Spinal Driver into Dark Rex, and you have like multiple waves of crit pressure. You enable multi-attack columns, and it's crazy. So personally, I like Spinal Driver's synergy with Dark Rex more. I feel like Tyranno Legend is like your backup grade 3. But you know, if you're playing pure Ancient Dragon, of course you're going Spinal Driver into Tyranno Legend most of the time. But personally, I like to see Spinal Driver as Plan A, Tyranno Legend as Plan B, and the Dark Rex as the surprise motherfucker kind of spice that ends your opponent's game before they notice it. So that's basically the list. If you have any questions, let me know down below. One last thing, I guess, because I forgot, was the reason why we play self-damagers is because you can be on Spinal Driver on 3 damage, or 2 damage if you have 2 self-damagers. You can self-damage yourself to 4. You can use Dark Rex. You can purposely whiff your Spinal Driver. And then you can Break Ride Dark Rex onto Spinal Driver before you're technically on 4. Before you're actually on 4 damage, because you just bored damage, right? And then after your Break Ride moves, you know, you're retiring everything, you're drawing cards from your deck, you have hand, you probably have 1 or 2 PGs at that point because you're drawing so much. Your opponent doesn't really have a lot of options to hit into you, and you're actually back to 3 damage or 2 damage if you have 2 self-damage. So that's just the idea. That's a really gimmicky play. I don't really recommend you Break Riding so early, because once you Break Ride, you're stuck on Dark Rex at 10k vanilla. But if your opponent's like, if you're rushing your opponent, and then actually just, if the opportunity comes knocking, then you gotta take it. So self-damagers help you with those like really small plays. It helps you use your Tyranno Legend earlier on, and that's basically the picture. Some people, I don't know how people feel about thinking Tyranno Legend as a backup ride, but from my experience, I played a lot of this. I love this deck, and that's just how I played it. Like, so yeah, let's just get straight into the games, and I'll see you soon. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't plan to build this deck. I spent way too many gems building this deck, but honestly, I really like Dote the End. I really like Trans Glory. But in the anticipation for Revengers and Ethics Reverse and Link Joker and all that stuff, nothing really hit me. You know, I just, when set 12 coming around, right? But Tachis came around. I got really lucky in the pack openings, and I just played it with what I had, and it was insane. I love the plays. I love trying to deck build this deck. You have so many options. Surprisingly, so many options. I tried the pure Ancient Dragon build. I felt like it was a bit slow. It didn't really make a lot of sense. This build was insane. It's pretty ridiculous. So mulligan wise, keep any grade 1, keep any grade 2. Bracios, generally speaking, just toss it back in because you rather superior call it. You want your Spinal Driver, that's your main ride target. If you have it, you're good to go. You toss the Brachio, we got the Brachio back, that's fine. So yeah, let's just check out how our Dino boys do. Let's turn on the animations. We're gonna ride the self-damager because we much rather keep the Sentinel in our hand. Since we're going second, we can afford putting the starter to the corner, especially since we have AK attackers, so they definitely do need help hitting numbers. Yeah, one of the problems again with the Brachio chain is that they don't hit numbers, but honestly the flexibility it gives you, especially since the Brachio work with non-Ancient Dragon names, while Iguana only works with Ancient Dragon names, definitely helps. One thing to note is that the Baby Rex doesn't need the Ancient Dragon name, so you can play Baby Rex in a non-pure Ancient Dragon build as well. Here our opponent's playing Dayusha with Great Dayusha. Hope everyone's excited for Reverse Dayusha and Kaiser. Definitely excited for that. Fortunately, we have 3 Brachio carriers here. Maybe I'm gonna save the Launcher Mammoth for later. Let's ride the Brachio carrier. It's gonna clog our hand. Let's hit some numbers. Retaliate a bit. We haven't seen any triggers left yet, so hitting one seems pretty reasonable, like right here. And if we hit one, then we're guaranteed to deal damage, so that's nice. Opponent showed 2 Great Dayushas, so chances of them hitting it, if they don't third one, unless they use the Go Yusha, is quite rare, I suppose. So One thing to note is if you're gonna play against DP, Dimension Police, just be careful of the 13k base. Like, I know that we're already past the point where 13k bases are important, but especially in the deck like Tachikaze that doesn't really hit good numbers, when you're playing the Brachio chain especially, just be careful of hitting those numbers, and it doesn't hurt to be wary. What did they bind the Dayusha? I want to see what they added to hand. I guess it doesn't tell you, huh? They call out the 7k. Okay, they're gonna Superior, right? Are they? So opponent did get lucky hitting those 3 draw triggers back to back. One of the weakness of Dimension Police is the lack of draw power, which makes me really wary of its position in moving into the future as well. But hey, if you sack those draw triggers, it doesn't matter. Dayusha. Alright. So this isn't the best showcase because we did draw into both of our Brachio carriers, like all 4 actually. Which means that our grade 1 Brachio is like dead. It doesn't really do much. So that's a shame. But, well, even if the combos don't work, I guess there's still a lot to show. Nine plus 3. 16k means that they access the 2 crits with Dayusha. If you are interested in playing Tachikaze and Dayusha into set 14, don't worry, you will be getting revival medals, so you will be able to pick up these older units by rolling the new gacha. So don't worry about that. You will be able to play Tachikaze, like a good Tachikaze deck, if you spend your gems on that set. Alright, they miss. We're at 6 damage. 4 damage. Can't do my math. Heal trigger. Dark Rex is good. Then we're at 3. Alright, yeah, dead Brachio card. I'm just gonna ride this. I love this animation too. Like piecing it together. Okay. Let's keep it easy. Should have called out the Brachio carrier, honestly. Since I'm not flipping anything and I'm calling out the booster. And the reason why I'm committing the booster, because even though I don't need it, is because if next turn our opponent puts us to 4, if I do draw into grade 3, then I can retire them and draw 2, right? And the Brachio is a dead card anyway, so might as well just recycle it and draw 2 cards. Feint your stand triggers, I guess. Draw trigger into Terminal Legend. Iguana is a good card. Ping a PG. 2-3. What's in their soul? Alright, they have 1 more plus 3k. CB2 draw 1, and this card's still gonna be good. Like again, as we talked about, draws are hard to come by in DP, so on hit Kama's 2 draw 1 might seem expensive. It is, but it's still a good choice. And 9k body hits other 9k grade 2s anyway, so yeah, opponent's gonna threaten us with crit pressure, put us to 4. That's perfectly fine if we top deck a grade 3. Alright. Let's top deck a grade 3. Can we do it? Nope, nothing. Alright. Guess we're gonna play some vanilla fight. Put the 7k behind the Vanguard so it hits 21k column. Hits 21k numbers. And one thing to note is that for the Brachio chain, you can actually just step on top of them in the main phase and it'll still proc. So, just a little fun fact, I suppose. I can't really showcase much anyway, like in this fight. It's a shame, but it's less of me beating DP. It's just more of let DP do things until they die, which is the unfortunate case of DP in this game. But that really is just how it is. Like nothing I've done so far has anything to do with Tachikaze. Nothing, except for the low base power, I guess. But can we? Can we see a grade 3 so I can at least break ride and do something? Or do we just win? Alright, not this one. Not this one. Ah. Sure, why not? Technical difficulties. I'm sorry. 20k numbers threatens for lethal by himself. Diamond Ace. Yeah, I might just skip through this fight. It's boring. Nothing happening at all. I guess we did have to ride as the Brachio. Ah, that one of that 13th card. I'm gonna fall asleep. Can't even do a dark Rex play. This sucks. I guess we're gonna go with Tigano Legend next turn. And then boing boing win game. 2 PGs at most. We go 1-1. Rearguard to rearguard, rearguard to Vanguard, Vanguard to Vanguard, and then proc multi-attack, and then rearguard to rearguard, and then we win. Yay! Yeah. Ah. Yeah, Alright, unfortunately doesn't have any heal triggers left, so we can just Take it easy. Chill. Chill, chill, chill. Oh, break. Oh, wow, break. Oh, baby Rex. Baby Rex Iguana board. Oh, what multi-attack with tiny numbers? Oh, Tachikaze specialty. Alright, next game. And we are back. Hopefully I did decide to just speed through the last game because it was really, really boring. Hey, hopefully we get a better game to showcase the deck. Last game we drew into all our Brachio carriers, so we couldn't do any Brachio plays. We didn't get to do any break right shenanigans. And I guess the only thing that was good that came out of it was being able to do a Tyrant Legend endgame push. So there's that. Let's just leave it in our head. It's fine. I think Tyrant Legend it's fine. If this is a VP farmer, I'm just gonna be really sad. Yeah, I'm just gonna be really sad. Last video, someone was like, "Why are you sad that you got a VP farm?" Well, trying to showcase the deck, and I can't really do that if I can't make it authentically just show that it's decent, right? Sword Dance Angel, finally, it's not a thrower, I guess. It's a decent card. Magus deck, I guess. Alright, I guess it's just base OTT. I'm gonna kill trigger the Dark Rex. We have the Spinal Driver as our first ride target if we want. If we want to play more aggressively, we have the Tyrant Legend. That gets supported with the Self Damager. One less Dark Rex means that we might not be able to show the Dark Rex plays again, but that's okay. Let's think it through. Alright, let's just go for the 10k. And we're going to call out the Brachio Carrier to hit 11k, and we're going to go face. Alright, they hit a heal. Unfortunate, but that's fine. Honestly, should not have committed like that because our opponent has one more trigger, two more triggers than we do in our deck, because they have the starter, and they also have, you know, they showed one less trigger. So in terms of the open trigger information, plus out the 11k, 8 plus 3. It's good. It's good. Give us the damage. All right, Wiseman. Alright, here's a turning point. I'm actually more leaning towards riding Tyrant Legend right now. I can self-damage and then actually start making some plays happen. So let's just do that. Straight into Tyrant Legend. This is plan B. Dinosaur goes Roar. Self-damager. I'm gonna self-damage that. Iguana Gourd is okay. Iguana Gourd is okay. Alright, let's just call out this. So our retired target is 1, 2, 3. The Brachio. We're gonna keep the Baby Rex for later. Retire. Get the extra crit. Draw a card. Baby Rex goes here. I'm gonna use the Brachio to get a grade 2. Can't attack with it. We're not gonna hit numbers anyway, so there's no reason stepping on our own Baby Rex to risk it. Draw trigger. Wow, okay, well, I guess we could have risked it and then got that working, but I think it's fine where we're at right now. Unfortunately, we don't have a Sentinel, but playing a bit sloppy. Could have positioned this to actually enable an extra attack, assuming we hit those triggers, but comment down below if you can find the correct approach to make that happen. Wiseman. Oh, sorry. Apollon. Who's Wiseman? Is this Wiseman? Yeah. So, I guess I can't showcase the Superior Break Ride. Maybe I'll do a stream of just Tachikaze gameplay in a few days. And we will keep doing it until we make it happen on stream or something. But yeah, I guess this video is just to let you know that deck is decent. Turn the Legend good. Break Ride Shenanigans great. Alright. If we do draw into the Dark Rex, I can still actually make the Break Ride play happen. Didn't draw into any PGs, which is unfortunate. Crack your castle. But why? Crack your castle into the grade 1. No, I don't really want to do that. Alright, are we going to go for a final turn push? Call grade 1, call grade 1. Oh, call grade 3 out. Alright, we're going to go for a final turn push. So, here we can go with Vanguard with 2 crit. We're retiring 2. One calls out a grade 3, one calls out a... Oh, 2 calls out a grade 3. Wait, is this the right thing? So this way we're calling 2 grade 3s into the front row, calling 1 grade 1 booster into the back row. Oh, we don't even need to call up the grade 1 booster to the back row. Baby Rex, Baby Rex, Baby Rex, Rex. It's the new Baby Shark song. No, that's not how Baby Shark goes. Alright. Yeah! Multi-attack turns. And this is why your unflip is important, because you'll notice that because of all the counterblasting you're doing, replenishing your board, you're gonna run out of counterblast soon. Pew pew pew! Pew pew pew! Oh! And scene. That's it. What can you do? No PGs, no heals, surprise crits. Janky. Heal trigger, can we get a heal trigger, please? Can we? Can we get one? Maybe 2, even 3? Come on, Izaki. Well, I guess there you have it, folks. Two pretty bad fights, but yeah. Hopefully, I'll see you all live soon for a stream. As you can tell, I'm a little bit tired from work and all that stuff for now, but overall, the Bracios really helps you reposition your board if you need that. It helps you enable setting up your intercepts if you need that. Helps you enable your multi-attacks when you need that. Your Dark Rex is actually really great. Trust me about it. Just don't use it too early. And I know a lot of people just instinctively use the +3 like as throwaway card. Keep it in your hand and only use it when you need it. Only on the turn you will use it most of the time. Your Spinal Driver is your main ride target. I know both fights I'm showcasing it mainly using Tyrant Legend, but Tyrant Legend is a plan B, and even as a plan B it works really well unless your opponent hits a 6 damage shield. So I guess that's basically it. It happens. That's just how the game is. If you enjoyed this video, hope you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to see more content and you want to see me stream soon, let me know down below. I'll try to make time for it. Really excited. I really wanted to showcase the superior brick red stuff. Unfortunately, I guess, you know, bricking is the way to go today. So that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.